I want to talk about a show that defined an era in television. It's an older TV show that was way ahead of its time. It was a spin-off of another cult classic. While this show was airing, it was my favorite show at the time. I'm talking about The Vampire Goat. That show was Angel the series. If you are familiar with Buffy the Vampire Slayer, you will know the character Angel. Angel left the Buffy show and was given his own series set in Los Angeles, the city of angels, LOL. Angel the series, ATS, was very different from the Buffy show. ATS was a more mature show, while Buffy was set around teenagers in high school. The Angel show was set in the adult world. ATS dealt with darker themes and situations. If you are unfamiliar with the character Angel, let me give you a little backstory. Angel is a vampire who was once called Angelus. Angelus is legendary for his cruelty and viciousness. He was wildly known as the worst of the worst. One day Angelus attacked the wrong person and got cursed by gypsies. The gypsies restored Angelus's soul. In the Buffyverse, vampires don't have souls, meaning they don't have a conscience. They are able to kill without guilt or remorse. So once his soul was restored, more than 200 years of guilt and remorse came rushing back in. Now to try and atone for his sins, he calls himself Angel and uses his dark gifts to fight evil to help atone. Pause. If you like these types of videos, hit subscribe to get more content like this. Now back to our regularly scheduled program. He met and fell in love with the Slayer Buffy, and often teamed up with her in her fight against evil. However, their tragic love would not last, and Angel ended up leaving Sunnydale and moving to Los Angeles. And that is where our story begins. Once Angel arrived in LA, he quickly realized the big city plays by a whole different set of rules. Angel will not be fighting the good fight alone. He is soon joined by some old and new friends. The old friends are Cordy and later Wesley from the Buffy series. They set up a PI office called Angel Investigations. We help the helpless.
ATS may take place in the Buffyverse, but it's almost nothing like Buffy. The only way that they are similar is that they deal with the supernatural. Its themes and plotlines go into some dark places. Angel and crew are used to dealing with one big bad, like back in Sunnydale. But now they come into contact with a law firm called Wolfram and Hart. Yes, lawyers are the big evil in the supernatural world. It is ironic that it is so similar to real life. Wolfram and Hart, the firm, had branches in every major city in the world, as well as satellite offices in many areas of the world where they helped spread oppression and evil. They're not just limited to this dimension. They are an interdimensional global organization that controls and is responsible for a large part of evil activity in the world. It only makes sense since the founders of Wolfram and Hart, known as the senior partners, are ancient demons from another realm. The firm is so evil that their employees can never be free from them, even in death. The employees often had a standard perpetuity clause in their contracts which binds them to servitude after death. So to work there you will have to sell your soul to devils. The main goal is to make sure that evil wins in Armageddon. They take an interest in Angel because there is a prophecy that the vampire with a soul will play a key role in the final war between good and evil. So Wolfram and Hart's goal is to try and get Angel to go back to his old ways as Angelus and join their side. But Wolfram and Hart isn't the only enemy Angel has to go up against. Angel and crew end up battling all types of opponents, from humans, demons, slayers, divine beings, and more. Angel is able to battle these types of opponents because of his vampire powers and fighting ability. Angels possess superhuman strength, speed, reflexes, and healing. In terms of vamps, Angel would be considered a super vampire. His abilities far surpass most other vampires and some demons. Angel is one of the most skilled fighters in the Buffyverse. But it is more than the physical threats that give Angel and crew the most trouble. He has to deal with all types of moral and emotional issues.
The main punishment for Angel's soul being restored is that if he ever experiences true happiness, he will lose his soul and revert back to his evil self. So with all the guilt he feels for all his crimes, he won't ever allow himself to be truly happy. I know what some of you might be thinking: what could be so different about a soulless angel? You don't know Angelus. Angelus is pure evil. But he is not just bad, he is cunning and wickedly smart. As Cordy said, what is it about turning evil bumps up the IQ points, or something like that. Angelus is a vampire other vamps fear. Even among the most powerful demons, his name is revered. He is kinda like Kyoko Kurama, from Yu Yu Hakusho. He is brutal and ruthless, to allies and enemies. So you can understand why Angel fights so hard not to lose a soul again. So in order for that to not happen, he must almost live an eternal life of loneliness and misery, never allowing himself to get too happy. Truly, Angel is a tortured soul. But all hope is not lost, because Team Angel learns about the Shanshu prophecy. It says a vampire with a soul, once he fulfills his destiny, will Shanshu become human. It's his reward. Team Angel is a unique and great cast of characters. You got the book smart former watcher Wesley, the popular girl Cordy, the raise on the street, vampire hunter Gunn, the nerdy shy girl Fred, and the life of the party singer and club owner Lauren. RIP to the actor. Each member brings something to the table. It is funny because you would think that most of their personalities would work too well together, but it is the opposite. Their differences complement each other. Their teamwork flows like water. They are a fine-tuned evil butt-kicking machine when they are working together. It is not always rainbows and sunshine between them, like I said, when they're on the same page, but like any group that does clash from time to time. And some of these clashes have life-altering events for characters. The great characters don't just stop with Team Angel, the villains, and some other supporting characters all have their moments. Like Lindsay and Lila of Wolfram and Heart. These two have some of the most classic scenes of the show.
Especially Lindsay, his hatred and rivalry with Angel is cinema. One of the other characters that impact the show is Connor. Connor was a polarizing character at the time. I always liked the character, but a lot of fans hated him because of certain actions. Connor added a whole new element to the story. The tension and conflict between Connor and Angel were intense. Connor wasn't just a problem for Angel, Connor would have issues with almost everyone. You also got a few cameos from other characters from the Buffyverse, like Faith, my favorite Slayer, Willow, and even Buffy. ATS also shows the abilities of characters better than in the Buffy show. For example, when Faith made her returned appearance on Angel, we see her Slayer powers on full display. She showed superhuman abilities before, but never to this extent. The show Angel was one of the best TV shows of its time. It was must-watch TV. It ended way too early. The level of storytelling this show had was peak television. The action was top-notch too, for its time. That first encounter with Team Angel versus the Beast still gives me chills today. That battle can still hold up with some action scenes in the modern era. In the beginning, most would have thought ATS would be just like Buffy, but that didn't happen. ATS became so much more. There are so many classic moments from this series, like the episode Destiny. This episode was so emotional, and one of the best fights in the Buffyverse. The century-old feud reunites. We get more backstory on Angel and Spike's relationship, which makes this even more powerful. Adding Spike to the show was one of the best decisions. And if we are talking about classic episodes, the most unique and one of the best pieces of art in all of television is the episode Smile Time. Smile Time alone is reason enough to watch this show. They need to make a whole show based on the theme of Smile Time. I could go on for hours about how great a show Angel is. For those of you who haven't watched this show, you're doing yourself a disservice. The show may be more than 20 years old, but trust me, this show will not disappoint you. Angel was and still is one of the all-time greats. What do some of you think? What are some of your favorite moments? Would you want them to remake Angel, like they're talking about doing with Buffy? Leave a comment, hit that subscribe button, it's back to the shadows. Thanks for watching.